Okay, great. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Tyler Rotary Club. And whoever got this thing going this morning, thank you so much. I love it. I mean, we've now had it for a couple of months, but I haven't figured it out yet. Okay, it's great to be back. Did y'all miss me last week? Yes. Okay, I went to Jim and Bonnie Wimberly's funeral on Saturday. It was a horrible, tragic accident that took their lives, and it touched a lot of people, not just the people that knew them personally, but the people that came on the scene from the Frankston EMC or EMTs and EMS, and it was really an eye-opening experience for me. I'm a very much day-to-day planful person, but I went home and I said, Richard, we're taking our vacation to Big Bend that we've been talking about for 6 years. And he said, really? When? I said, tomorrow. He said, wait a minute. And he said, tomorrow's Mother's Day and we have brunch reservations and for your mom. And I said, okay, Monday. So we left Monday morning and drove to Big Bend, night one day, but had a magnificent getaway. It truly was recreation. I had forgotten how much a vacation can do for your mind, your spirit, your soul, your health. But boy, I missed y'all. I watched DM's presentation 3 times. I couldn't watch it live because I couldn't get reception in Big Bend. If you've ever been there, if you have not ever been there, put it on your list because it is a phenomenal experience. I had high hopes, but I had no idea what I was going to see. It's absolutely incredible and unbelievable. Too many highlights to list. We did walk down to the Rio Grande and look up at that 1,500-foot wall that's Mexico, and it was a magnificent experience. But anyway, enough of that. I'm so happy to be back, and I so missed everybody. And it's so great to see your faces today. We've had enough rain, don't you think? Yes. But I think we're going to get more. So anyway, okay, if you would, please turn off your cell phones so we don't have any interruptions today. And help me thank Dr. Sarah Roberts for her talent at the piano today. Thank you, Sarah. That was beautiful. Okay, and this usually comes later in the program, but I want to say today, I was so impressed when I walked in the door of the club, and there was Brooks and Austin looking as fine as 2 young men could possibly look. I mean, it was my heart skipped a beat. So thanks, Brooks and Austin. Yeah, Austin, we're going to all have to take a peek at those socks before the day's over. You know that. But anyway, let's thank them for their time today. come look at me, and it's nice to have them here. Okay, and now then, if you'll all stand, David Jones is going to lead us in the pledge and the national anthem.
Thank you. My Rotary shirt for that. Let's pledge. We'll leave the flag, shall we? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Stars through the perilous night, for the ramparts we fought were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets red glare above bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing us that star-spangled banner yet wave, for the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm still, oh, okay.
Your invocation.
Let's do the invocation as well, shall we? Thank you, Lord, for the opportunity of being here today with our friends and to represent Rotary and Tyler. Lord, you've given us the privilege of being alive today, so that means we have a purpose and we have a mission. So I pray that the mission of Rotary be uplifted and that we're able to touch people's lives in a positive way and making our community a better place to live. We also thank you, Lord, for the rain, even though we're getting a large portion of it, because there are going to be some days soon that we'll be wishing we had more. So I pray, God, that everyone is safe during this time of deluge and that you will be protecting as we travel. I just want to say thank you for the blessings that you've bestowed on us individually and in our families, our churches, and our businesses and our community. And we just look forward to great and mighty things that you have in store for us as we serve you to make our world a better place. All of these things I ask in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Be seated, please. I get to do the other two. I'm just having fun today.
I know. It's David Jones show.
All right. We're so glad that you've joined us today. And we would like to recognize any guests that we have with us today. So on these tables, would you stand and introduce the guest, please? Well, welcome. Glad to have you with us today. Thank you. In the middle section, do we have a guest to be introduced? Yes, sir.
Hi, this is Lisa Jordan. She and I met the other day at TYPN after hours, talked a little bit about Rotary, so everybody be on good behavior. What we're all about.
We have to be on good behavior. Delightful to have you with us today. Thank you so much. Our now one of those tables on my left. Guest. Okay. Do we have any visiting Rotary?
Wait.
Hello.
We have guests. Katie or Emmett, can somebody introduce her? Or you can introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Melissa Shannon. I'm a third meeting as a guest. So I'm an application. Joining you on.
Okay.
I'm a wealth advisor. I just made a big transition from large wire transmission. So that's why you might see a little frazzled, like you might be all like that. But really excited. We've got an office over here in Ashland Park. Walking distance, but not really. But thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your application. We look forward to that very much. All right. Any visiting Rotarians with us today? Are there any? Well, if not, thank you for coming, folks, and we are delighted to be here today. What was it the little lady said on Hee Haw? I'm proud to be here. So, thank you for coming and being with us, President.
Yeah.
Thank you, David. Gosh, it's great to have these guests here today. We're always open-armed and open-hearted to new people in our club. It is not a cliquish club. It is a club that welcomes everybody, no matter what your age. It's no longer an old white man's club. It is a club for all people. And thank God for that. So, thank you guests for being here, and we would love to welcome you with open arms to be a member of this club. In my personal opinion, and I've been in lots of clubs in Tyler, over the past 5 decades, this is the finest club in town, by far. The Rotary Cup of Time. Okay, and now for my very special friends part of the program that I absolutely love. Please help me give Paul Gleiser a big hand for this week in history.
Thank you, Pam. Starting today, on the 20th of May, 1998, following eulogies delivered by Gregory Peck and Kirk Douglas at the Church of the Good Shepherd Catholic Church in Beverly Hills, California, the body of Frank Sinatra was laid to rest at the Desert Memorial Park near Palm Springs, California. Sinatra had died 6 days earlier of a heart attack. He died at the age of 82. On the 21st of May, 1927, after being in the air for 33 and a half hours over the Atlantic Ocean, 25-year-old Charles Lindbergh landed his airplane, the Spirit of St. Louis, at the Bourget Field in Paris, France, at 10:22 in the evening, completing the first non-stop airplane flight across the Atlantic Ocean and claiming the $25,000 Bourget prize. That's $366,000 today. 5 years to the day later, in 1932, Amelia Earhart would also fly the Atlantic nonstop to become the first woman to do so. On the 22nd of May, 1992, sitting on a stool alone at the center stage in front of an invitation-only studio audience and 50 million television viewers, Johnny Carson said goodnight for the last time on The Tonight Show. He appeared on television, I do too. He appeared on television only one more time before his death in 2005. It was a silent walk-on cameo on the David Letterman Show, the Late Show with David Letterman. On the 23rd of May, 1934, not very far from here, Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow, cold-blooded criminals who had nevertheless managed to turn themselves into popular folk heroes, were killed by Texas and Louisiana lawmen in a hail of bullets while attempting to avoid apprehension of a stolen Ford in Enville Parish, Louisiana. In their criminal career, Bonnie and Clyde were credited with robbing banks and stores across 5 states, killing 13 people, including 9 police officers and sheriff's deputies. On the 24th of May, 1935, the first nighttime Major League Baseball game was played at Crosley Field in Cincinnati, Ohio. The Reds beat the Philadelphia Phillies 2-1. Night games were a big deal. They allowed people who worked in the day to attend baseball games in the evening, had a huge effect on Major League Baseball team attendance and revenues as teams began adding lights in night games. The last field to get lights was, it may know, Wrigley Field in Chicago, which saw its first night game on August 8, 1988, in which the Cubs hosted the Phillies in a 3-inning rainout. On the 25th of May, 1961, 20 days after Alan Shepard became the first American in space with a 15-minute, 115-mile suborbital flight, President John F. Kennedy, addressing a joint session of Congress, stated, and we quote, "I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out, landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth." The goal was achieved at 10:50 a.m. our time on July 24, 1969, with the Pacific Ocean splashdown of Apollo 11. And finally, on May 26, 1868, President Andrew Johnson avoided conviction and removal from office by virtue of his impeachment by a 35-19 vote in the Senate, 1 vote short of the needed 2/3 majority. Johnson was impeached for his violation of the Tenure of Office Act, which the Supreme Court would later rule to be unconstitutional. Birthdays in the coming week starting today. Cher turns 76 today. Any Dynasty fans?
Yeah.
Joan Collins turns 88 on Sunday. Folk singer Bob Dylan turns 80 on Monday. Radar O'Reilly, Gary Berghoff turns 78 on Monday. And Stevie Nicks turns 73 on Wednesday. That's this week in history. And none of us getting any older.
Yeah, we're definitely not getting any older. We're all getting younger and better looking every day. Isn't that the truth? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Rotary business today. This is is today the 21st? Today's the 20th. May the 27th. God, I forgot my glasses. Paul, help me. No, I took them over there. Sorry.
Are you looking for the speaker, ma'am?
Thank you. No. No. Aren't you cute? Who was that? Who said that? Okay. May the 27th will be the last day to sign up and prepay for the Centennial Celebration. Surely you've all signed up by now, because it is going to be one wonderful evening. It will be a very history-making evening, and if you're not here at Holly Tree at 5:30, you better get here as quick as you can, because it's going to be a wonderful evening and a tremendous celebration for the 100th year of this club, which was last year. Dion was our 100th president, and he's going to be reigning over this celebration. And because it's really his turn, and COVID really gave us an awful blow for a year. I think we're getting through that now. But anyway, it's going to be a magnificent celebration. There will be a lot of wonderful things to hear and see. Excuse me. But it's something that you're not going to want to miss. So be here for our 100th birthday celebration. Okay. Regular meeting. Does that mean we're also having a regular meeting that day?
Yes, that's a busy day.
Okay, a busy day. She said a busy day, but I wasn't, anyway. Okay, the half-mile of History Stone dedication will be at 3 p.m. Oh, that's the same day, at the atrium on the square. And has everybody seen a picture of the half mile of History Stone that's going to be presented from this club and laid in the sidewalk in front of the old People's National Bank building? Well, is it not on the website? It should be on the website. But anyway, it's a beautiful stone. It's a fabulous kudos to this club, because we will have our stone right in the middle of everything, and it's very exciting. So you don't want to miss that. That's going to be at 3 p.m. I think we're going to get to meet in the Plaza Building.
And the mayor will be there to present the stone.
Yes, and our mayor, Don Warren, will be there to present the stone. It'll be really wonderful and exciting. We'll never walk down there again without thinking about our stone being there. That's at 3 p.m. on the 27th. Yes, Dylan?
Let me make sure I have my notes.
I think so.
Okay, June the 5th is the Centennial Party.
Yeah.
Right?
June the 5th, yes, June the 5th.
Okay.
But May the 27th is the last day to sign up.
When you said that earlier, though, you said we also have a regular meeting on a day, Saturday, so I didn't know what that meant.
No, May the 27th is our regular meeting day.
27th. And then the thing on the square, what day?
May the 27th. See, Holly, who's the most efficient person I've ever met in my entire life, has busy day, May the 27th. And I didn't want to read busy day, May the 27th, because it didn't really even know what that meant, but now I get it, because that's when everything is all that's happening on the 27th.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
you
know.
got
And what time?
it? 3 p.m. 3 p.m. in front of the Old People's National Bank building.
Well, in the atrium.
What?
We're inside.
We're meeting inside in the atrium. The stone will be outside on the sidewalk will be laid out there, it's not already, but we're actually meeting and having the dedication inside. So,
Those of us who've only been here 25 years don't know where the old people's building.
oh, okay. Well, in this is definitely not an indication of my age, but in 1971, I went to work for People's National Bank. And that's the old building on the opposite end of the Darth Vader building. And does everybody know what the Darth Vader building is? That's what we called it back then. It's the huge 20-story building, black buildings on the square.
Plaza Tower, right?
I don't know what they call it. Plaza Tower. And the dedication is going to be on the other end in the original People's Bank building and inside in the atrium, which used to be an escalator, but I think now you just have stairs and it'll be up there in the mezzanine. On the atrium, we call it the mezzanine. Okay, anyway. So that's my 2 minutes of history. Okay,
One more question.
you got it, Dylan?
Yeah.
Okay. Larry?
I have one more question about the schedule for the centennial.
Okay,
There's a reception at 5:30,
yes, sir.
and what time is the dinner?
6:30.
Whenever we get ready.
6:30?
6:30.
6:30, yeah.
We moved, the reception is from 5:30 to 6:15. We have 15 minutes to move from this Holly Tree Room into here.
Okay.
And get seated, so.
But we're gonna have exhibits, very historical exhibits that you will want to see before you sit down to have dinner. So, strongly advise you to be here at 5:30. And there'll be a lot of camaraderie that evening, and it will be a fine time will be had by all. Okay, let's see. Okay, we got through that. All right, a fun evening at True Vine for our social and family night. The East Texas Symphony will be playing. That's the 27th too?
Yes, that's why I said it's.
So the 27th is a busy day. It's a busy day. Okay, so don't miss that. Dylan, do you have that on your calendar? True, perfect. True Vine at 5:30. Bring Ashley. Is that at 5:30? At True Vine at 5:30. Okay, that's everything for the 27th. Okay.
Is there a meeting on the 27th?
Yeah.
There's a meeting on the 27th. Yeah, there will be, that's our regular meeting day. So we'll meet here, we'll meet at 3 at the Plaza Tower or the Plaza whatever thing, and then we will gather again at 5:30 to relax and unwind at True Vine with the symphony. Okay.
What time is that meeting?
Oh my
Jesus. I'm about to need happy hour right now. Okay, and everybody in this room surely knows that our centennial celebration is June the 5th, 5:30 here at Holly Tree.
Yeah.
If you haven't made your reservation yet, I'm urging you right now, do it today. Don't wait any longer because it's gonna be wonderful. And when we're talking about it later and you didn't make it, you will be so sad. And
I just signed up.
excellent, Kathy, you go, girl. Okay, on to page 2. Judge Ken Starr is coming to see us again. That's so exciting. I just bought his book on my trip, his new book. He'll be here on June the 10th to speak on his book, Religious Liberty in Crisis, Exercising Your Faith in an Age of Uncertainty. Boy, isn't that the truth? And we'll also do a book signing purchase. He'll also do a book signing period, purchase the book in advance and bring it to the meeting. I don't think he's gonna be selling books here. Okay.
We can't get a bookseller to come. 'cause
We can't get a bookseller to come, so get a book beforehand so he can sign it for you here. Okay, our monthly board meeting is tomorrow. And everybody knows how much fun our board meetings are. If you've been to one of our board meetings, raise your hand. That's a pretty good percentage, but we have a big time. We don't just, we do discuss very important business, but it's also a great time to relax and talk and visit and a really good time for great minds to come together, not mine, but theirs, and come up with good ideas and stuff like that. So very beneficial for this club. And if you're a club member, you really ought to be there. Okay. The program, I'm about to wear out. The program for May the 27th will be Toastmasters International. Toastmasters International, that would be a good program. But the program today is going to be really good. And now our famous, wonderful, nice, exciting President-elect, Bill Pascal, will tell you all about it. Thanks, Bill.
Welcome, man. Going on vacation, leaving tomorrow.
Yay.
Yeah. Okay,
Are you going to where?
where am I going? We're going to Austin, getting there tomorrow. Hopefully, we leave Monday. The main reason we're going down here is to attend the NASCAR event, the Circuit of the
Oh,
Americas.
that's
Yep.
why.
That's why. Wish you and Donna were going for, Bill. Are y'all going down there for that?
No, this year.
Okay.
I'm going down there, Bill. I'm going for the UC graduation. It's the
Okay.
same weekend, so it's gonna be that house.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, well, let me just get to the point here. Today's speaker is Stephen Campbell. He's the executive director of Breckenridge Village in Tyler. They are one of the unsung heroes in the Tyler community. Stephen was born and raised in West Texas, where he spent much of his time volunteering in the special needs quote-unquote community. Upon graduating, because we can be considered part of the special needs community here. When he graduated from high school, he moved here to attend UT Tyler. He graduated in 2008 with a bachelor's degree in psychology. It was at that time when he began his career managing intermediate care facilities for persons with intellectual disabilities, and he later earned a master's degree in public administration in 2012. He joined Breckenridge Village in 2012 and has served various roles. He's now the executive director. In his spare time, Steve enjoys playing tennis, guitar, jumping on the trampoline with his kids, his wife Haley, and he attends South Spring Baptist Church, where he serves as a deacon. Please welcome Mr. Stephen Campbell.
Well, good afternoon. It's an honor to be with you all this afternoon. I have to say, though, I feel like a bit of a Trojan horse because I'm actually a member of the South Tyler Rotary. So, in all things you said about this club being the best, I'll keep my opinions to myself. And, but I will say this is much more of a lively group than the South Tyler Rotary.
Yes, we are.
Just don't tell them I said that. Not get straight up. I'll see how today goes. Maybe I'll come to the May 27th busy day. And see how
Yeah.
I did not. Is that an error? Okay. Should I go ahead and walk out? Well, again, it's an honor to be here. There is nothing more exciting or enjoyable that I get to do than to talk to other people about what we do every day at BVT. And so I do want to introduce my colleague, Linda Taylor, who's joined us this afternoon. Linda is our Associate Executive Director of Advancement, which is a fancy title for she's a fundraiser. And so she may be passing the plate around here in a few minutes. So before I start my presentation, I'd like to show just a very quick 2-minute video to kind of set the stage for our discussion today. And Kathy's crossing her fingers, so let's hope that it works. So that gives you kind of a glimpse into what we're talking about today. Kathy's going to start that presentation. We'll see if this fancy clicker works. Yeah, it does. So before I begin this presentation, I always like to kind of get a feel for who I'm talking to, as far as your knowledge and understanding of who BBT is. So I'm going to ask you to fit yourself into one of these three categories. Number one, you have a very good understanding of who BBT is. Number two, you know what BBT is, but not much about it. And then number three, you know nothing about BBT. So if you would classify yourself as fitting into category number one, raise your hand. Okay. And then number two. All right. And number three. All right. Good. So now we know kind of who we're talking to. So hopefully this presentation kind of gives all three categories a glimpse into who BBT is, and whether or not you know everything or very little, you'll walk away today with knowing something. So we're going to talk about who we are, who we serve, how we got started, what we do, how we do it, and where we're going. We're going to do that really fast. We don't have much time left. So this is our vision statement. So BBT serves adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities in a warm, safe, family-like setting that promotes individual development and independence. And these are our core values: to love God, value people, care passionately, and work together. And this is one thing that we really strive every single day to do, whether it's interacting with our residents, interacting with their families, interacting with community members, or interacting with each other as staff. We have these core values posted throughout our facilities. We actually have them on the back of our badges. And so it's one thing that we emphasize strongly throughout our campus. And this is our campus. So we have about 75 acres right next to Tyler Pounds Regional Airport. And so I was telling someone earlier, it's kind of a blessing and a curse because we're out on the beaten path. So unless you are going there, you wouldn't really go there. But then because we don't have a lot of visibility, a lot of people have never heard of us before. They don't drive by on a regular basis. But it's a beautiful campus. As you can see from here, we have this picture was taken when we just had 6 homes. We actually have 9 right now, which I'll talk about here in a few minutes. We have an administration building, a clinic, a chapel, a building with a swimming pool behind it, and then down at the bottom left is our candle shop where we make candles and have different classes in that building. So who we serve? Again, individuals with mild to moderate intellectual disabilities. They have to be out of high school in a good physical condition. They can't require like round-the-clock skilled nursing care. So our staff do sleep at night. So the residents retire their bedrooms about 9 or 10 o'clock. And we actually have live-in staff who stay there with all the residents attached and a cottage attached to the group home. And they can participate and benefit from the programs and services that we offer at BBC. So this is kind of a cool story. Breckenridge, this is how we all got that started. Jean and Robert Breckenridge had a son named Jimmy with Down syndrome. Yeah, there he was as a young boy. And you know, back when was he born? What year? In the 60s.
62.
Born in the 60s, and as you can probably imagine, back then in the 60s, services for folks with disabilities was very, very subpar. Institutional-like settings, poor quality, and so Jean and her husband Robert had a dream and a vision for a place to be created where Jimmy and, in her words, those like him could go and be loved and well cared for in a home-like setting. And so they bought this property, about 70 or 80 acres, built a little house on it, a few bedrooms, and that was their desire, for just a few people to live in a house and be well cared for and loved by the staff that took care of them. Jean never dreamed that that vision of hers would blow up into what it is today. So today, again, 9 homes, 58 residents, a day program, and a staff that come alongside each other to love and support the ones that care for those that we serve. The cool story continues. Well, it's not a cool story, but the story continues. Robert Sr., the dad, and their oldest son, Robert Jr., very tragically and unexpectedly passed away about 6 months within the same time frame. So that just left Jean and Jimmy. And so you can imagine that fear, right, of, well, what's going to happen to my son whenever he passes away, just fueled her passion. And so she gave everything that she had to an organization called BCFS. At the time it was called Baptist Child Family Services. Today it was called BCFS, to create what is today Breckenridge Village of Tyler. The other cool story about this is, so here we have an arrow. This is House 5, where Jimmy lived, and back over here on the other side of the arrow was the Breckenridge residence, where Jean Breckenridge lived. And back in April of 1998, when we opened, Jean had a hard time letting Jimmy go into his new house because she didn't want to let go of him. As you can, if you have kids, you can imagine the fear that she had of having a child with disabilities and relinquishing her control and her care to someone else. But the neat story is that since Jimmy lived on that north side of that house, at nighttime, whenever the lights were on in his bedroom and the blinds were open, she could look out her window and see Jimmy in his room, knowing that he was safe and well cared for. The thing I tell people too is, really, Jean's story began, in my opinion, a long time ago, but it kind of really took into motion in February of 2013, whenever she passed away. Because then there was no one else in her family to look after Jimmy. Not a single soul. Not a child, not a spouse, not a relative, not a sibling. It was just us. And so Jean had nobody else with EBT. Jimmy lived there until his passing in the spring of last year. He tragically passed away in his sleep from a heart attack. But he was loved and well cared for up until his passing last year. And think of all the lives that he touched because of his life. So what we do, 9 intermediate care facilities, fancy word for group home basically. 9 ICF facilities. We have 6 homes for women, 3 homes for men, and a total of 58 residents. And we also have a day program where people from the community come in for day program services, and they go back home with their family in the evening. So our residential program, we have 24-hour care. As I mentioned, our staff are available to the residents at all hours of the night. There's a doorbell attached to their apartment, and they can go in the residence and government doorbell. They have been used throughout the night. The residents have their own bedrooms, which is pretty rare for group homes. I've managed some in the past where they have 4 or 5 people to a bedroom. And so the fact they have their own bedroom is a pretty special thing. And our new homes we just built actually have their own bathrooms too, which is even more special. But we focus on independent living skills and activities of daily living, teaching them things like proper social interactions, community interactions. If they need help with brushing teeth or combing hair or bathing, we teach them those skills as well. Our day program consists of 9 classrooms. We mix the adults together so that they can have new social interactions and develop friendships. And then we focus on pre-vocational skills, community services, goal setting and achieving, recreation, and educational skills. You'll see some of those in the next few slides. And we also do something called electives. So very similar to like a school setting. We will have different classes that the residents can choose from. And every semester they will select a class to be a part of. So things like candle making, horticulture, ceramics, woodworking, sports and recreation, nature walking, a very diverse set of skills or classes that they can choose from and take throughout the course of the semester. And then we also focus very heavily on community service. So each group has a Meals on Wheels route they go to each day and deliver meals to the elderly. They're very involved in East Texas Food Bank. They go to Great Acres Baptist Church and set up the bulletins for Sunday services. They go to a place called Jesus Closet where they sort clothing for the homeless. So as you can see, they live a very well-diverse life. Many programs, they go and they sit in their room all day and, work on the coloring sheet or watch TV, and it's not DVT. We get them active and get them into their life. Some recreational components to DVT, bowling, Special Olympics, and we go to museums, fine arts, symphony, concerts. So again, it's kind of part of that well-rounded life that we try to give them whenever I talk about the electives. And here's just some more photos that you can see kind of the things I'm talking about in action. So Jennifer's over there. You can see Jennifer's over there with Meals on Wheels delivery. Here's Julie preparing the bulletins for Sunday service. One cool thing too they do is knit caps for an orphanage over in Moldova. So one sister agency we have within BCFS is called CERI, Children's Emergency Relief International, and they knit close to 1,000 caps a year that we send over to the orphanage in Moldova. And one of the cool things about this story is the first year we started doing this, we sent the caps over to the orphanage, and the staff let us know from the orphanage that when they got the caps, they put out this long table and dumped the caps onto the table for the orphans to come choose a cap from. And when the staff let them know, hey, here's your cap, the kids just stood there. They didn't know what to do. They just stood there, and we were told that was because they had never been given a choice before, and so they didn't know they had the freedom to go choose what they wanted to. They just had always been handed things, right? And so it was pretty neat that the residents of DVT with special needs here in Tyler, Texas, made a difference clear across the globe. And then here's Cindy welcoming back a soldier from Welcome Home Soldier at the airport. Trips to the food bank, we have our own newsletter, a vocal choir, we have our horticulture class, and then a handbell choir as well. We have exercise groups, our candle making group, our culinary arts class. Okay, so that's kind of what we do and how we do it, and let's talk about where we're going. So we completed our phase 1 expansion back in 2019 with the addition of 3 new 7,000 square foot homes. That expanded our capacity by close to 50%, adding 18 new beds to our campus. Phase 2, the capital fundraising campaign of phase 2 just finished early this year, a $5 million activity building that we'll start groundbreaking on this summer, and that will provide new classroom space and fundraising space or event space for our campus fundraisers. And so we're looking forward to bringing that addition onto campus. This is what the new building's going to look like. So you saw the candle shop over here on the aerial earlier. So this building's going to go right next to it with a bunch of how big is that room? About 10,000 square feet, and then we'll have wings next to it for classroom space as well. Here's another rendering of the building. One thing too that we don't have, Hale mentioned the rain. We get soaked when it rains outside, as you can imagine, because we have no awning. And so here we're going to have 2 different awnings, so you can imagine how the excitement that's going to bring to the residents and to the staff. This is an inside rendering of the event center. And then here's our floor plan. All right, so one more video. This next video allows you to kind of hear from the staff, from some of the families that we serve, and give you a greater glimpse into DVT. should be sound, Kathy. If that's not working, you may be able to exit out of the PowerPoint and go to the file explorer.
Hold on, we'll do it this way.
It should be the 4-minute, yeah.
That one.
Yes, ma'am. We'll see if that works.
Since 1999, when we opened, we have been able at Breckenridge to carry on the dream of Jean Breckenridge and be a beacon of hope and light to families out there who are waiting every day for a place for their loved one to call home.
One of the reasons why we wanted to come to Breckenridge, first and foremost, is we were so impressed with the people that are here. We love the surroundings because it's like a country setting. It's a Christ-centered environment, and the people are just incredibly nice. So it just was a great fit for us. You know, even after we looked at other schools, the feeling is just here.
There are so many great things about BVT. We have a wonderful, caring staff. Each person here at Breckenridge has a unique story to how God brought them to BVT. The folks who work here don't do this for a paycheck. It's not just a job to them. It's a calling, it's a passion. And that's what makes BVT so special and so different, is that the people that work here truly love and care for the residents that we serve. They want to see them succeed.
When Drew was born in that hospital room, it was quite a shock to us. But the Lord spoke to Gary and myself, and he just told us, do not worry, I will take care of Drew. And he has been faithful in doing that. And to us, especially in our stage of our life, it's been such a privilege to have Drew live in a place like Breckenridge, where we know that he is loved and cared for. There's days I don't even give him a thought. You know, I know he's taken care of. And because of my time that I spent volunteering here and spending so much time on the campus, I can tell you for a fact that all the staff here, the house parents, the volunteers, everyone, they practice what they preach. They truly love and care for all the ones that live here. And that is such a blessing to like us.
It's like with all of the residents living out here, it's just like one big happy family.
I was there at the very beginning with Jean Breckenridge and Kevin Denon, and I can remember riding over those fields in my little Nissan car with a dream for a place where people with disabilities could find love and acceptance, and that dream has now become a reality. And it's one of the greatest ministries in all of the state of Texas.
The culture at BBT is like none other you'll find anywhere. If you went to any place in Tyler, Texas today, you would not find the love, the support. The residents care for us. We care for them. We have incredible staff here. I would put our staff up beside anybody, anywhere, and hands down, they would excel in every piece. At Breckenridge, our culture is excellence. Excellence for God and excellence for the people that we serve.
What an incredible story BVT has played in the lives of so many people over the years. If you've had any part of writing that story, thank you. BVT is what it is today because of the residents, staff, and generous donors who have supported our mission over the years. But our story isn't over. In many ways, it's just begun. And we would love to have you be a part of the next chapter. I hope you've been encouraged by what God is doing right here at BVT. So come by and see us or visit our website to find out how you can become involved in the incredible work at Breckenridge Village of Tyler.
So I hope that gave you even a deeper glimpse into what we do at BVT. And we'd be honored to have you come by. Things look a little bit different these days with COVID. But give us a call, as I just said, give us a call, come by and see us. We'd love to see how you can partner with us, or just maybe pass along a word to someone who has a family member in need, so we can help. Let us know. Be happy to answer questions before we wrap up. Do you have any?
Well, some of our members don't know this, some do, but the benches that you have going to the chapel area, we actually donated those. That was one of our district grant projects that we had the tiles taken out. The residents painted the tiles, and then we put the tiles on the bench. And there are some other tables out by the group homes that we provided, so they have some outside space. So our club has been involved with Breckenridge already.
Yeah. We have 3 of those benches, and they're great. They're used all the time, and they're great conversational starters whenever we have tours or guests come on site that we can talk about the artwork of the residents.
Yeah, we're interested in finding out about volunteering. I mean, what is the process as far as?
So the questions about volunteering, we always need volunteers, whether it's a one-time or whether it's a weekly volunteer. Right now, again, some COVID restrictions that are going on, but I have my card. You will feel free to email me, and I can get you the volunteer packet, and we can go from there. We need volunteers to help with those classes in the afternoon. That's our biggest need, is from about noon to 4 or so, or 1 to 4. So yeah.
Good.
There's a question in the back.
Hey, do you guys do any work? I'm a former campaign counselor, and I was wondering if you guys do send any of your residents there during the summer, or you guys coordinate at all?
At Campaign Day?
Yeah.
There's a few that go to Campaign Day. Not a whole lot, because that requires us kind of, there's no staff of ours that go with them. So yeah, pretty independent to get at Campaign Day, but we do have a few that go. Yeah. Anyone else? Hey, do we have time for one more? Sure. Okay.
How do the residents pay for it?
So the question's about funding. That's the question that everyone wants to know. We have 3 legs of funding. So the first one is we can bill Medicaid for their care, but as you can imagine, Medicaid does not pay very much at all. And so if we rely just on Medicaid for this whole chunk of our revenue, we call it 3 hots in a cot. They get 3 meals a day, and a place to sleep. That's about it. So Linda, as I mentioned earlier, is the one that helps bring in the money to help cover the gap between the true cost of care and what it actually costs, what we actually receive. And the third leg of funding is our day program is paid privately by the participants. I have cards. Linda and I will stay afterwards, and we're happy to visit with anyone else. But thank you for allowing us to come. It's been a privilege to speak with you. I'll keep my opinions to myself about the club differences, and hope to see you all next time.
Stephen, that was wonderful. Thank you so much. And Linda, you both have extra stars in your crown when you get there. So thank you for what you do. And we really appreciate your time here today. And for that, we make a donation to the Literacy Council in your names. And so
one is DM.
Oh, sorry. Well,
I'll get one to Linda.
Linda, I'll have one made for you too. And this one goes to our program speaker from last week, Dr. DM Edwards. Making a contribution to the Literacy Council was actually DM's brainchild, and I followed in with it this year because I think there's no better way to honor our speakers than to do this. So anyway, okay, now guess what? The drawing. Wow. Okay, how much, Emmett?
Yeah, 4 cards.
4 cards.
$3,770.
Good Lord, 3,770 cards with only 3 cards left.
Still lucky.
4 cards. Okay.
The last 4 are 3, 8. I always like to pause right there.
I know, right?
3, 8, 5, 5.
Nope.
3, 8, 5, 5.
I know, wait.
Oh, Austin loose. Did he do it?
No.
What did you draw? Oh my gosh, we're down to 3 cards.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
So how much did we bring in today?
There was over $300 that we brought in today because the total was
Okay,
$37.70.
everybody bring their wallets next week because it's going up all the time. Okay, with that, I want to thank all of our guests again and our wonderful members and oh yeah, sorry, we're running late, so I forgot all about it. Would y'all stand and join me in the 4-way test of the things we think, say, and do? First, is it true? Second, fair all term. Third,
Friendship.
and lastly,
Will be beneficial to all concerned.
we're adjourned. Have a great afternoon.